Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, back on a stream. Who we got here? Let me see. Oh, okay, comments. Let's give it a minute for people to come into the talk, inshallah. Let me announce this on my social media. Who we got there? Who was that? Who's in? Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In al-Mallah. Leela. Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on? Okay, so we got 6 people in here. Okay, let's start off with getting our salams out. Where's everybody from? Where you at? What time is it over there? And we're going to get into some controversial type of stuff. You know how we do it. You know how we get into the controversial stuff. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Didi Mac 99. Texas. Okay, I'm right above you in Oklahoma. Okay. See if we can get some people. So let me just start out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this is Friday Night Lives, Friday Night Vibes. Sometimes it's Saturday Night Vibes. It's vibes nonetheless. On the menu today, we're going to talk about what's going on in Leicester. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Hindus versus the Hindutva and the Muslims in Leicester, in England. Try to make some sense of what's going on over there. Indonesia, okay. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Zamina and Bobby Joe. We're going to be talking about that, what's going on in Leicester between the Hindutva and the Muslims. We're going to be talking about what's going on in Iran, for God's sakes. I see women in the streets burning, they're dancing and they're shaving their heads, they're shaving their heads, they're burning their hijabs. What exactly is going on in Iran, for real? Because it doesn't look too impressive to me. It doesn't look too impressive. Why do you think these women are taking off their hijabs? That's question number 1. Number 2, do they really understand the deen correctly over there anyways, right? Like it's Iran, right? I mean, I'm not going to make this a Shia Sunni type of thing, but it seems like everybody that I talk to from Iran, they really don't understand Islam. It's mostly, the secular type of thing. They want to, they just want to be free. I've seen so many videos where them, taking off. Well, they'll do the video starting out with the hijab, and they'll say, this one that I watched, this woman goes, and she's in the hijab. I may not be the most beautiful woman in the world. I may not have blonde hair and blue eyes. I may not have white skin, but I have a voice. And she takes off her hijab, and she, no more. We want freedom. We want freedom from the hijab. And, and the whole thing, to me, it looks rehearsed. It looks really rehearsed, these, and I would go so far to even say that some of these women are like paid to do this. No doubt there's some people in Iran that, hey, wa alaikum salam, young man. There's a lot of people in Iran that really don't give a damn about Islam, coupled with they don't even know what Islam is to begin with. Ahmad Bashir, Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You trying to come on? Joe Baz, we gotta have you come up on the what do you call it, man? Hold on. Guest, invite a guest, copy on the clipboard. Boom, boom. There we go. Send. So, without further ado, come up to the stage. You know what it is, man. Nobody gets like interviewed or anything on this channel, on this show. Yes, it's live. You don't have to come up. You don't have to show your face or anything up, but come up. Bro, 20 minutes? Bruh. I don't know if I can wait 20 minutes. I don't even know if this thing is gonna last 20 minutes. Joe Baz, you're gonna have to come up and save the day, man. Somebody come up. If you're a woman that wants to come up, you want to talk about the hijab thing going on in Iran, get up here, click the link. Let's talk about it, inshallah. Let's get somebody on the stage. Come on now. Let's see. Dear brother, Allah bless you. You are doing great work on this planet. We love you. Jazakallah khair, Irfan. Jazakallah khair. I appreciate that. I'm just doing my best with what I got. So 14 people in the room, somebody's got to come on the show. That's what we do. We go live and we just chop it up, just like, normal people. So what do you think? What do you think? Rationale. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Somebody come up and tell me, what do you think about what's happening in Iran? Do they understand Islam? Do they know what they're doing? Why are people abandoning the hijab? Why are women burning their hijab? Is it culture? Have they been taught culture? Have they been, misinformed about Islam? Are they oppressed? Is it good what they're doing? Come up and tell me. So there's a link. If you see in the comments, there's a link. Just click on that link and you're going to have to allow your mic, allow your video. If you do want to do video, sisters, of course, you don't have to come on video, but let's see who we got. Ahmed, bro, hold on. Let me get you in here, fella. Add the stream. Baya.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Mr. Bashir, what's up, man?
Quickest 20 minutes ever. Not much.
Yeah.
I'm about to go pick up my mom again.
Man, you know what? God bless you. You are a dutiful son.
No, I try my best. I've put her through a lot in life, so it's the least I could do.
Man, haven't we all? I mean, seriously, haven't we all? Let me get. Okay, Nida isn't here. Nida, did you want to come up on the show? Abu Mujaddid, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Why don't you come up, Abu Mujaddid, and welcome to the stream. Positive vibe.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Very good topic, brother. Jazakumullah khair. Ahsanallah alayk.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah feek. Nida, I'm trying to get you into the stream, but you have to press microphone, allow your microphone at least, so I can get you in here. Okay, there you go. Assalamu alaikum, Nida.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, Nida. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for this wonderful program.
Alhamdulillah, no problem. Glad to have you. Never had you on the show yet. So
I follow, but yeah, this is the first time on this show live, but I always follow you, brother.
Welcome. So we'll just get straight into it. What do you think? And Ahmed, I understand whenever you gotta do what you gotta do, and we'll talk later. Come back to the show though, if you can. So Nida, where are you from? If you don't mind answering that.
Here in Texas, Houston, Texas.
Okay, Houston, Texas. Okay, my dad's in Conroe. Wow.
Oh, okay. Close to us.
Okay, so here's the thing. What do you think is going on in Iran? Is it culture? Is it secular? Do these women have like a dog in the fight to begin with? Is it oppression? Is it misrepresentation of the hijab in Islam? As a woman, explain and take your time. What do you think is going on in Iran?
Bismillah. Brother, it's not just Iran. I mean, yes, I appreciate your focus in Iran, but just as a general comment, our ummah, we're lacking in education. Culture has taken over. There's no sound Islamic education. And also, everybody almost, except for the very small minority, everybody has been brainwashed by media. You know, they're following like the hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ahlul Kitab, you know, step by step. So, and you also mentioned probably being paid. I don't rule that out. Some are paid, but not all. So there you have it.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't know too many people from Iran. But the people that I have met from Iran and saw them on social media, they seem to be, and I totally thought what you just thought. Like, it's not just Iran, but that's the hot topic of what's going on. Why do you think that women are? Let's just throw this into the pot real quick. Why do you think women in Saudi Arabia? Let's throw Saudi Arabia in the pot too. Or, you know, this whatever her name is, I forget her name. There's a couple of sisters that escaped from Saudi Arabia, and they came to Canada. A couple came to the West, and right away the hijab went off, and they're eating pork, and they got boyfriends, and they're drinking wine. You know, their social media, they have like a pork chop with some wine right next to it. And is this rebellion against Islam? Have they been taught Islam in the first place? Do they even understand the beautiful religion of Islam? Nida, what do you think?
Well, I'm sure they haven't been taught it correctly. I'm sure no human being will do that if they had the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they knew who Allah was to them and I don't know what kind of books, I mean, used to back in the days. I mean, the education in Saudi Arabia, Islamic education was a very sound one. However, a mixture between culture and education, that's a problem in the Middle East. Right? I mean, if a lady is not educated in her deen, definitely this is going to happen.
Oh, sorry, Sadia. I meant to put your comment up on the thing. I'm sorry. How do I get you out of time? I apologize, Sadia. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think, forgive me, Sadia. It'll come on in about 4 minutes. Excuse me. That's what I think. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of, I think as well, there might be a lot of expectations of, the West playing the hero in this whole thing. Like, come to the West and you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But specifically in Iran, we know, I don't know your background. I don't know if probably you're from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Ana kaman, alhamdulillah. Do you think it's misinformation? Like, why are women doing this? And do you believe that Muslim women do this in the West and in Egypt and in Yemen and why? Other than, you know, like you already commented, misinformation and no knowledge, but they seem so happy to take off their hijabs. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so easy for them?
Well, see, brother, we said number one, there's no sound Islamic education, right? If you're a Muslim in name and just, you know, you just grew up in a Muslim family and you saw what mom and dad are doing, and probably mom and dad sometimes not doing it accurately, not really instilling the Islamic principles. And then number two comes what Allah says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أفرأيت من اتخذ إلهه هواه. So you're following your whims and desires, taking your whims and desires as your God. That's what they're doing. Of course they're happy. You know, she moves to the West, and lo and behold, there's no authority, and there you go. She's going to just live up her life, and that's what they say. I'm living my life. I'm living my life. I've heard that a lot.
And that's so shocking. Me, you know, 31 years ago, I was a Christian, I was living the life myself. And when I hear women and men, because trust me, Muslim men, they go over here and they show out probably even more than the women do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm just thinking, you know, when you say, I'm just living the life, I'm just living the life. I just think back to the life that I lived as a Christian, and you know, going around with no boundaries like an outlaw. What life? What life? A life of disobedience? I don't think having a life of disobedience, disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a life. You're ruining yourself. Nobody else is doing this to you except you. And you can have the pleasures of the flesh, and then you gotta square up with that at the end of the day, and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you're not making tawbah. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Oh, and actually, basically, life is just a limited time. And if you don't, during this time you're given, if you're gonna cut out a part of this life and dedicate it to your Creator, this life is wasted. It's a chance wasted. You know, it's your investments basically. Your most precious investment is gone, and
Exactly.
and then you arrive in the hereafter and you have nothing. I'm a teacher of Islamic education. I always tell my students, just think about it as your bank account. You have a bank account of al-akhirah, right? And you better every day, just like you worry about your Chase or your Best Western or whatever, bank account and what you have there, you better worry about what's in the real bank there. That as you live your life, you either have in the plus there or you're in the minus. And the currency in the akhirah is not a dollar or a pound. It's, good deed, bad deed, good deed, bad deed. You arrive on the other side and you have nothing. What are you going to do? So, but these things, if a human being doesn't think about that, this is the result. The Quran is full of the verses where Allah ends the verse with يَتَفَكَّرُونَ يَتَدَبَّرُونَ. You're contemplating, thinking, contemplate. He gave us this brain for a reason.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're just contemplating this moment. How do I live it to the max? Well, how do I become happy? But not thinking about what's coming next.
Right.
And this next might be just minutes later. I mean, who knows? SubhanAllah. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's about not thinking, right? Not thinking, not focusing on what's real and what's not.
That's a good point, because when you see your bank account and it gets under $10,000, I mean, I do. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, it's kind of getting real, And then you keep on watching your bank account go down and down and down. You freak out. You start saying, I'm getting, I'm on a money mission now. I'm going to do this. But the thing is, like, your comparison to good deeds, and I'm in the salihat. We don't care if it gets low. We don't really ask ourselves, what have I done today? We don't take account of ourselves, like at the end of the day or during the day. Sometimes, people don't even remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're ghafilun. They don't realize even what they're doing, because they've left dhikr and consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being conscious one moment to the next, But I wanted to ask or welcome Abu Mujaddid, my guy, Abu Mujaddid from New York. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you good there, buddy.
Okay.
What's going on?
What's going on there?
So what do you think of this? And by the way, Jazakallah khair Nida for that. Please stay on.
Yeah, I'll just excuse myself. It's Maghrib time here, and inshallah I'll join back. Jazakumullah khair for the wonderful show.
Okay, inshallah.
Assalamu
alaikum. Abu Mujaddid.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, so what do you think about this, man? What do you want a piece of? You want a piece of the Leicester Hindutva versus Muslim, or you want everything together? You want
it's crazy.
Or you want a sinner?
It's crazy how the dynamics stuff play out, especially in the age of social media. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I don't even think about, we growing up here, we didn't have stuff like that, for example, in Leicester, whatever happened up there, but I sometimes wonder, like, what would happen if something like that kicks off in Jackson Heights? You know what Jackson Heights is, right?
Yeah.
Imagine all the Hindutva marching over there, that's kind of like up there, like that's their people. And at the same time, you got Desis. Desis are comprised of Hindus and Muslims over there.
And
You know what I'm saying? And Sikhs, yeah. Man, that would be crazy if it came down over here. But I think people in the UK, they're different up there.
I don't think. I'll tell you why. I don't think it would happen. And by the way, positive vibes. Anybody that's on the stage, more than welcome to chime in at any time, bro. Just interrupt us and speak your mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather let other people talk because, I mean, you and I, we go way back, I'd rather let all the new brothers and sisters come and talk and share their expression. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing about Jackson Heights. You and I have done dawah in Jackson Heights. We've taken the temperature of Jackson Heights. We know what it is in New York.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. I don't think anything's going to jump off between the Hindutva and Muslims in Jackson Heights because they get rolled up within minutes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the UK is a little bit more different because I don't know. I don't want to call my brother soft, but it's just a different vibe out there.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. Plus, I mean, also other thing is they're a few generations deep than us over here. Like the immigrants.
Well, and the thing, I did talk to somebody about that. If they act up over there, meaning the Muslims, they have legislation that can actually kick them out of the country if they do that type of thing in the UK. But like in America, man, you're going to scrap and you're going to go home. Somebody's going to get arrested and everybody goes home.
Yeah. Especially those juveniles, because if they're young, what they're gonna do? They're just gonna serve. They're gonna go to like Rikers,
Yeah. I mean, you've lived in New York all your life. I only lived in the Bronx for 3 years. but the thing is it's just a different vibe though. But I see that Isa Dawa, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Isa Dawa. Hey, come up, man. The link is in the comments. Come up, Isa Dawa. We'd love to hear with you, man. Come and chop it up with us, inshallah.
Let's have some virtual chai.
Yeah. Let's see who else is in here, man. What do you think? What before we go to somebody else? What do you think about what's going on in Iran, of all places? Give us the whole thing.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, tough guy.
All right, there, sizzle chest. I mean, I was thinking about it too. I think there's a lot of issues there, and I don't think I can do justice in trying to explain it because you got to take into consideration the entire history of Iran, particularly all the things that's happened, including Shiism there too. All of those are factors.
You just said Iran like you were from America and you're a white man. Come on, you got Iran.
Yeah, because I'm New Yorker. It's Iran. Oh. No, just kidding. Yeah, it's what's a farce? That's I guess yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of things, and sometimes there are legitimate sentiments there, on what's going on and stuff like that. But at the same time, obviously, in this day and age, there are rogue elements there that's gonna exploit it. So sometimes I always try to step back before I pass a judgment, look at the entire picture. I think the latest I heard on this is the father was saying that the authority misrepresented how she died and stuff. So it's like stuff like that. Like that's a major thing. The father of the woman that got slain is saying that what the story is being presented is not what it is. So not all the facts are there. At the same time, like I said, just because she was killed, I mean, I always take things, from a, you got to be skeptical, especially in this day and age. Anyone can cook up something, and just plaster on social media, and then next thing you know, it's gone viral, and you don't even know how true it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, assuming it's genuine, assuming exactly that's what happened, So for sure, like I said, there's a lot of things that are in play. Of course, there's a lot of injustice, and sometimes that's what happens. Like when you have an authority, who does. I mean, it's you can talk about. I mean, you can pick up so many angles of it, and you can talk about so many things, like what happens when an authority becomes corrupt, and then there are people who basically says, hell with authority. But again, authority is needed, to govern a society. You need authority. So how do you draw that balance? And I think, a place like Iran, or Iran, I guess, it's Iran. Yeah. It's forget about it. I mean, like, and obviously there's a lot of, socioeconomic factors, et cetera, and I mean, also you can draw some, what the sister that's came on the mic earlier said, so there's a lot of factors in there that's involved. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. I don't want to go too much into a certain aspect of it and break it down. I mean, I'd rather let other brothers and stuff come on, or sisters, and I think you kind of went offline, bro. I don't know. I don't see you. Hello.
Yeah, I think Malik is offline.
Oh, okay. All right. So I mean, I guess the stream is still going on. All right, brother. If you want to go ahead and speak on this, feel free.
That's okay. Just like let him come back online first.
Inshallah.
He's back now. Yeah, you're back now.
Yeah, you're back. I think you went offline for a bit.
Man, my internet connection. Sorry, guys.
I thought it was a tornado. Not just kidding.
Hope not. It's not even that easy yet. Huh?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just joking.
Sorry about that, though, guys. Sorry about that.
It's all good. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to carry on, go off on a tangent on, on a certain thing that's causing it. There's, like I said, there's a lot of factors in there. I can't do justice. There's many angles that led, that I don't know if you can say led to this. This is not the first time. Like they did the woman came and did hijab burning, and I'm not particularly hijab burning, but women protested against the Iranian government. So
what about this? Do you believe? I mean, I almost for sure know your answer because you and I go way back.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are paid actors, like plants that are there? And because it seems like when these people do their hijab burning or rising up against the ayatollahs or whatever,
right?
It seems like cameras are on the spot, productions on the spot. It's everywhere. It's professional. Do you think that there are paid actors that really just hype this up?
For sure, absolutely. This is, like I said, this is not the first time. Every time, whenever woman goes on the streets and declare anything like against the Ayatollah, against the religious aspect of Iranian society, cameras are always there broadcasting it. For sure, there is elements of it, but at the same time, I also think some of it are grassroots in the sense of there are, Iranians who just hate, Islam, who hate anything to do. I mean, obviously, Islam includes the entire, the Ayatollah and the whole religion, etc.
Yeah.
So of course, they want to go ahead and use those opportunities, to exploit for their agenda. Obviously, they want an ultra liberal Iranian society. So of course they're gonna be the first ones. They're gonna hype it up, exaggerate it. Do whatever they can to make the Ayatollahs look evil or bad, or they're responsible. And obviously, there's no doubt they are to an extent responsible. But like I said, it's part of the bigger problem. So,
well, okay. Let me ask you something different. Let's see. Where can we take this? So you do believe that other people? Okay, let me ask you this. When I look on social media, and I saw, for example, someone today, I don't even know where they are. I got my Twitter in front of me. I don't know how to find them, but
someone's going to want to be a martyr. There's going to be another lady who's going to want to kill herself in front of the screen right now for this cause, just so she can, bro, they're diehards like that. There will be.
I'll tell you what, I almost called you your real name. Abu Mujaddid. The thing that kills me, this, for some reason, just makes me crazy, man. When when those type of women or ex-Muslim men, whoever it is, when they come out on YouTube and they come out on social media, it pisses me off so much that the non-Muslims are the first one. Oh my God, we support your freedom. Oh yes, you can't tell a woman how to dress. We support you 100%. Our prayers are with you. Let us know if you need anything. And they're just
flip the script.
They're like devils just waiting in ambush to support this thing, which is, it seems like they love anything that rebels against Islam. Like, I'm with you. Woman, man, whatever. Yeah, you should be gay. Yeah, you should take off your hijab. Nobody can tell you that you can't have a boyfriend.
Right.
What do you think? Does that bother you? That bothers me, man.
Of course, because like I said, if you flip the script on issues where, Muslims are being repressed, you don't see the same passion, for these people, to defend Muslims, in all parts of the world, whether it be the Uyghurs, whether it be the Muslims of, and especially
Palestine.
right now, in Palestine, or right now in India, there's like literally like a mob vigilantism that is supported by the government unofficially. But where do you see, mainstream media sometimes reports them, sometimes, but where do you see the passion from like your average, American Joes say, oh my God, look at this, same people, but look, just because they're Muslims, look at how they're being persecuted. You're not going to hear that.
It's like skipping a rock.
Yeah.
The media comes in and ding, and it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's I don't think they even mentioned. Yeah,
just like when there's white shooters at schools, white Christian extremists on school. When's the last time you heard anything about Timothy McVeigh, who bombed the Oklahoma City federal building? You just don't hear about it anymore. Christianity is not on trial. Maybe that's a different tangent, but
no, absolutely, yeah, that's always the thing, So again, it's people have agenda, and those people, who act like they have sympathy, right? On the flip side, they have hatred towards someone else, whoever they have sympathy towards, their enemies they hate, so that's that's pretty much what it is. So you can tell, because they're not consistent. If they're consistent, they would show sympathy towards the suffering from all different types of people, Exactly. But you can ask them these questions, especially in the Dao stalls, sometimes you get these Zionists and stuff, who act like, oh, they're the victims, and then when you give them examples, oh, so what about this example of this Palestinian, whose house was razed by the Israeli army and stuff like that? They'll pause, and then they're like, well, that's our land. Like you can totally tell right there that they're flipped. There's no more sympathy anymore. Of like they can't empathize. With another group of people suffering. That shows you that they have agenda.
Well, tell me what you think of this comment on the. Can you see the comment on the screen? What do you think about that?
Yeah, to burn the hijab, because by doing that, they're declaring war on Islam and Muslims, as they don't have to burn it and do bad actions. Of course, but so there's two parts of it. One of it is obviously those who are burning it, they don't care about Islam. The reason why they're burning the hijab is because they're mandated to wear it, from the Iranian authority. But those people who are burning it, they don't care about Islam. They don't want to follow Islam. If they have the opportunity, they'll probably take it off. But right now they have this opportunity to kind of do it in that sense. But then again, you have these, like social media just makes people dumb. Like you see all the dumb people come out. You have Muslims, obviously. I don't know who they are. There could be Russian trolls, on social media. You have a bunch of accounts people post, they're like, oh, yes, even as supposedly they're Muslims, and supposedly, they're whatever hijab, but they're like, yeah, it's justified for this instance, to show something symbolic. You should burn that hijab to show it. That is so shallow.
Yeah,
it's so shallow,
Ilyas Khalil saying kuffar will always side with other kuffar against Muslims. Don't kid yourself. Our only ally is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and other Muslims. We can't rely on anybody else. Stay vigilant. That's exactly the thing that we discussed yesterday. I mean, our last live stream, where something that really upsets me about Muslims is we talk about the problem. We need to start doing this, and we need to do this, but we're like waiting to be saved by these non-Muslims, like as if we're waiting. You know, it's their mandate to save us. It's nobody. I think we've seen since the Uyghurs. I think Palestine for 70 plus years. What's happening in India. I think everybody, maybe this is something you want to get into a little bit more. By the way, we do have a guest. Positive Vibes is back. Let's bring him. Oh,
bring him on.
Let's bring him back. And the thing is that we discussed yesterday. Are you back, Positive Vibes?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Welcome back. The thing that really disturbs me is after all the oppression that's been done to the Muslims, Palestine, the Uyghurs, India, you name it, wherever, we still have this false hope of security within ourselves. I don't, but I think that we can agree that, look, Muslims on this planet, we are absolutely 100% alone. We have no protector except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
Period. And it bothers me that Muslims,
they've forgotten
after seeing all of this stuff happening, even to their grandparents, like this is not something that's new. Generational oppression, and Muslims are like, well, maybe the UN will care about me. Maybe my government will care about me. Maybe if I go on social media and raise awareness, which is I don't completely disagree with. Maybe they'll stop killing us. And no, it doesn't happen that way. Because they don't see us as human beings. Since 9/11 and even before, they have been working little by little by little. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just call them like I see them. Little by little, right? They have been dehumanizing us Muslims.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when they want to do something, the world says,
you know that their famous simple expression: if you want to kill the dog, you got to declare it sick. You know. So this is the propaganda. You know that Muslims are sick. You know, or if you don't want to say all Muslims are sick, you know, there's something element in Islam that makes these people sick. So that means, you know, whenever part of the population of the Muslims are wiped off, indirectly, it's probably good in the long run. You know, this is how the kuffar think, you know, and coming back to the point, I mean, going back to September 11th, right? The way the population reacted against Muslims, I'm talking about general masses, how the media played into that to make Muslims like the enemy, even to the general public. I don't know if there's a famous video. Not famous video, but it was a video online where basically in some town, I forgot where it was, Kentucky or something, the community got together as a lynch mob and were marching towards a masjid to basically burn it down or destroy it right after September 11th. I think it was Kentucky or something. It was one of these, you know, southern states.
Oh, Murfreesboro. I think Murfreesboro.
Could have been Murfreesboro. Yeah, could have been Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Yeah, could have been that. They were literally marching. You know, like I literally remember the clip, seeing that clip. You know, once on the news, I forgot which channel, and once on YouTube, but I can't find that video. But what it is that look at how these people, again, non-Muslims. This is something Allah describes in the Quran. You know, that the nature of the non-Muslims, generally speaking, will be the same. You know. So who will be your protectors ultimately is Allah. Rely on Allah. But look at these Muslims nowadays, you know, as things are happening, especially nowadays, you know, you have the rise of white, what do you call it? I mean, I would call it, you know, what's that term they use? Not something along the line of self-nationalism, or some people like to refer to as what, you know, white supremacism. Because that's on the rise, you have a lot of these Muslims that are afraid. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to ally with, you know, the liberal left, thinking that they will be safe. But they forgot the idea. What about us separate entity ourselves. Let's establish our own entity ourselves rather than allying with the disbelievers, because something's got to give. You know, when you ally with these type of people, you got to give something up. What are you giving up? You know, they don't realize it in the long run, but slowly, you know, a principle by principle, they're giving up trying to ally with these type of people, you know. And again, we have no ally but Allah, you know. We have to remember that. And I think this is something that's obviously being forgotten. Anyways,
let's go to positive. Let's go to positive vibe. Positive vibe. What do you think, man? Jump in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Malik. This is a very important topic, and this is like the topic of the hour. So let me go back a little bit for the Iranian revolution when the Khomeini came and he took power. So actually, that time it was kind of mixture of a political uprising against the oppression of the monarch, and the also the usage of the religious dimension of he was like talented of his speech, and it was all cassette tapes coming from Paris. So this generation who was inflamed by this religious political oppression fighting speech, this generation is gone now. So during this period since Khomeini died till now, the state is this religious state is isolating themselves from the main mass, because the main mass or the commoners, they are how to say, to it's kind of the mid ages church church control system of the society. They how to say, the layer of this mullah to control the mass, they keep the knowledge gap persistent. So whoever, like you have to have the blessing power coming from through the mullahship. So that kept the Islam is very superficial. So, and that kept also the secularism into, how to say, as it was during the Shah of Iran, Muhammad Rida Pahlavi. It stayed as is. Nothing had been nothing had been changed into the Iranian population. So of course, at the slightest fraction of, how to say, shaking the human rights or the people rights, especially now that with the economic situation, and also this you mentioned also, brother, the Saudi, because Saudi and Iran has a common sense here, which is policing the Sharia. Without any deep implanting of the Sharia knowledge, or the, you can say that, because we had in the 80s, I believe it's, yeah, the 80s and 70s, there was the so-called Sahwa. The Sahwa was real how to say, representation of the real, how to say, the Islam adopted by the nation, not enforced, not policed by the government. So to fight it from within, okay, so they kept this Sharia police very aggressive, like repelling, as if they are protecting, but actually they were systematically repelling the generations from the Sharia, because you have to be grabbed from the street, pushed to the mosque to pray. People were hiding, even they were praying. They were grabbing Christians, non-Muslims, from the streets to be pushed into the masjid to pray. So people actually were going hiding in the bathroom, the toilets of the masjid till the prayer finished. So this model was systematically implanted, manufactured, industrialized into the society. So they built up this secular gap within the society. So when you see the Saudi, or the, how to say, the women, when they go into the plane and they take off the hijab, because it was all, yes, it was all superficial. That was exactly what happened in Iran, in the Khomeini Iran till now. So at that life, you see now how people, how the young generation in Saudi, and both Saudi and Iran, is very similar in terms of they just like, they don't want it. They just don't want it. So that's why we really, and the real Sahwa, the real Islamic teaching, it was the state took it as an enemyship. They were doing all the possible things to undermine the Sahwa efforts. The real thing were always fought by the state. But the superficial things, as if you are the protector of Islam, it was actually against people adopting the Islam. That is the root cause of the things, what you are seeing now.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, what he said is spot on. And this is what I think Saudi is going right now. They're pretty much getting rid of the Sharia police, I think called Mutawin. They're pretty much almost gone. From what I heard, like they're on the last leg. Because when you used to go and
wait a minute, brother. Let's get into that, because if that is a contributing factor of why people are getting pushed away from Islam, or saying
yep,
Islam is too strict, and if they're running away from their families, then we have to talk about this. So do you think, number one, and anybody can, and by the way, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to Harun, the American convert. Hey, the link's up there. Click it. Join us, brother. If the Mutawa are, well, they're gone. But do you think that possibly their brand of, their strict Wahhabiyya or Najdi or whatever you want to call it, Neo-Salafi, do you think that they are at fault? Because you have this balance.
Okay, let me tell you. Yes.
You have this balance between using hikmah when you advise people with nasiha, and you have something which is totally different. Like the brother said, grabbing people and go to the prayer,
Right.
What do you think? Go ahead, positive vibes.
Yeah, so actually, brother, 3 decades ago, this Mutawa was a mixture of state staff and volunteers free of charge. Like people, I met people who were like over the clock, over the hour, 24 hours, like stationing in, like with all stuffed with all the equipment to catch how to say this hidden liquor factory, secret liquor factory, or how to say a prostitution case, or indecent party on a very, very high class elite. So and they were catching cases, those people, those volunteers, because they are really doing it for sake of Allah. They are not like state staff. But amongst the state staff, there were like hiring those who were like has nothing to do with Sharia, like just blindly, now kind of very primitive, reactive. I'm sorry to say that, to use the word, but that was it, like very reactive, primitive Bedouins. Now, so those actually were how deliberately hired to repel people from the world of Islam. But those volunteers members, they got rid of them like wave by wave, step by step, gradually. They eliminated those volunteers, and they stopped all the volunteers members. So now the how to say the good elements, or they are the ones who has ikhlas, we're doing it for Allah, who has some knowledge. So they are not doing it for out of interest, or out of I'd say material interest or fanatic. No, these people who has some knowledge. So they just get rid of them, and they kept those repellers. So of course, and it's not the matter of hikmah. It's everything was very how to say, very cooked and very planned from the day one. Actually, because they were the history, they were enforced by this alliance between Wahhabi, if you want to call it Wahhabi, between Wahhabi and the monarch. They were enforced. They had to go with this alliance. But this family is very extremely smart. So they gradually, over generations, start to get rid of their influence. Till now, they are like weightless, totally zero weight. After Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh bin Uthaymeen died, so the state is now has free hand to do whatever they want. And as you see now, they are totally turning the state into a very secular, totally secular state. So that is yeah.
What do you think? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but once you say something, I want to, because I'm someone who believes that if we stumble upon something that could be potentially the problem, we have to talk about it. You know, this family, and we're talking about Al Saud. Without saying too much, what do you think about this whole 2030 program that they got going on? And obviously, I mean, you can say that Al Saud is weightless, but the
Not
reality.
the, not the Al Saud brothers, sorry, not the Al Saud, Al Sheikh, the other part of the alliance, because there were two party. The two party was Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab family. Al Sheikh means Al Sheikh. Sheikh refers to Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Yes, yes.
Right. Okay. I got you now. So, I mean, what do you think about this 2030 program in Saudi Arabia? What do you think about this family that is bringing in concerts, that's bringing in, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. What do you think? What's going on, man? Because when I became Muslim 31 years ago, I thought that Islam in Saudi Arabia was like, this is where it all started. This is the Holy Land. But things that are coming out of Arabia, I've heard talks of, and I don't want to make this about Saudi Arabia, but it has to be said. We have to talk about it a little bit. They're talking about taking off La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah from the Rayat al-Saudiya. What do you think about this? What's going on in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, brother. See, it's okay. Now that will take us a little bit back to a little bit in history. Okay. Though this region from the how to say, the Atlantic Ocean, from Morocco till the Gulf, till the Hindu Kush mountains between Iran and Afghanistan. This is all were occupied territories. And the odd here, people think that when they how we can say, with the central world, which is like UK, France, Italy, Germany, Germany was defeated, and now US. When they retreat back, will pull back from this area, they think that they will pull back to liberate those areas. No, they didn't liberate it. They just wanted to pull out, to stop this imperialism fight between them, amongst them. Because now if I'm taking this part of the world and taking this part, we start to compete, and maybe we ignite a third world war. So now let's everyone go back home, but we still have the supreme influence, and the supreme influence means anything relevant to the sovereignty of the state. It is not there. It's not locally taken. It has to be taken there, and you can follow. Or you want to touch those lines, you have to consult us first and to get our concession, and then you can take the decision. So all those were superficial. So now now the agreement was like this. You have your mosques, but you have your petrol, you have your wealth, and you have your borders and supreme decisions. You cannot take a war peace decision. You cannot take state wealth agreement, or economic deals without our concession. So these things, you leave it to us, and whatsoever internal affair, you can go do whatsoever you like. However, after 9/11, they understood it was a mistake. Even this area, it has to come under control. So because they thought, now this 9/11, what is the root cause? The root cause, they went and analyzed it. Now this is the Salafis, or the fundamentalism. The fundamentalism is behind this. So it means that we have to go to the root cause and kill dry the knowledge resources. So this drying the knowledge resources is what is heading now for the fruit, that the crown jewel of this drying resource plan is 2030 plan. So by then, they think now it will be like the lemon will be squeezed to dry, and no knowledge will go to the Ummah veins anymore. It will be very minimal, very superficial. This is what they are planning to do.
This is it's a very elaborate and elite plan. Like what we are witnessing happening in Saudi, if you are able to track of how they did this from what Saudi was, inshallah. What Saudi was, maybe let's say 20 years ago till this project 2030 comes, or who knows, maybe when NEOM is established, maybe that's the pinnacle, of when people will see what Saudi was then and what Saudi is now. What we are witnessing, is something that should be recorded in history books of how you destroy the nation's culture, within a span, of one or maybe two generations, like we can record this, I mean, obviously like in Turkey, the way they dismantled the Uthmani Khilafah, it was obviously an elaborate scheme by the disbelievers, the enemies, right? But what we're seeing here in Saudi, like they hired, like Saudi government, they hire like for the education system, they hire people of how to, the curriculum, and you can see right now there's a change in the Saudi education system. All these are coming from who? Where are these people get the education from? If you watch some of the videos on YouTube, there's, I think what is it? I forgot. Is he the foreign minister of Saudi in UK? Like his education system, there's there's like an interview done. He's literally like, he studied, and that, like most of the Saudi princes who end up going back to, not just Saudi, but most of the Gulf countries, they all are educated in the West. They get their degrees here, and what do they learn? All secular education. And when they go back there, they get positions, and he's a perfect example. I forgot his name, but you can tell the way he speaks.
It's West, just like the supreme leader in North Korea.
So
but this is strategic, brother. If
Absolutely,
that this is also was planted by the UK system. UK, when they came to Egypt, first thing they did first like day one job was to turn over all the education system.
American University of Cairo. They attacked institutions. They established institutions. That's their grassroots of how they implant, alien ideas, and eventually that comes to fruition, when these graduates, they grow up and they become the intellectual elites, and they change everything. So
and now for that was like, how to say, the strategic, but also now, because you see, when you come and you want to confront the population to change their culture, you will face challenges, you will face hiccups, you will have to maneuver a lot. But what they have done, they use the strategy of the so-called the lighting points. The lighting points, what they did, they implanted at this very small state, which is in the Gulf. Well, who I'm talking about. So, which is 200% secular, and it is so advanced. The system is very advanced, and economy and tourism, and now the whole Arabia, the whole peninsula, now wants to follow this example. The nations, the government here sit back and watch the population wants to follow that model. So they just implanted the model within the Arab Peninsula, and they said, okay, now guys, you compare your miserable state conditions now, and look at this small city, which is now almost like UK, or even Trump said, okay, look at our airports and look at Dubai airport. So now the Arab Peninsula, the whole Arab Peninsula, including Saudi, it's okay. Now we want to be like that. So that's it. Voila, finish.
Jazakallah khair, Abu Mujaddid and Positive Vibes. Welcome to the live stream, Harun. How you doing? Assalamu alaikum. You're muted.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
There you are.
How are you guys?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. That's good. You hang on just 1 second. There's a video game taking progress on the other side of the room. So if you hear, get him, guys, get him, kill him, shoot him. So don't take any offense to it. So it's just my oldest son playing. So,
all good. For all you
appreciate the disclaimer.
By the way, Nida, if you want to get in on this, feel more.
Yeah. May I just want to say one thing? I mean, I respect and appreciate what the two brothers said, but all I hear is Scapegoat, scapegoat, scapegoat. Blame it on the West. Blame it on the non-believers. Well, the non-believers are non-believers. They're the same people from the early days of of history, and what they do is expected. The plotting that the brothers refer to and all that, that's expected. But where are the Muslims? I mean, I don't think we do ourselves any good when we keep blaming the other. It's them plotting. It's them doing this to our schools. It's them doing that. They said that. What about us, the Muslims? It's the deficit is with us. Don't you think?
If I can,
Khattab in the car on the way back from Jummah, and I said almost the same thing. This is what I said basically is we talk about the problems all the time. We blame a lot of people. We say, oh, look, so-and-so invaded this country and look at the way they're treating the Uyghurs and look at the way, I don't mean to seem insensitive. I really love my ummah, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But here's the thing that I told my son. I said, but at the beginning of it, you have to see the beginning of it and not the end of it, what's going on right now. What emboldened these people to invade our countries in the first place, right? I told about the 6-day war where Egypt and Syria and Lebanon, they all ganged up on Israel. And they lost within 6 days because they did it on Arab nationalism, on Wataniya, basically. And I said, there's a reason why they're emboldened to attack us. There's a reason why they feel that they can attack our religion on a daily basis. There's a reason why they're making videos and not videos, movies, and totally demonizing Islam. And if we're not even doing anything about it, we just, like I told my son, it's like the Muslims are sitting and watching the game from the bench. And just,
and not only that, have you noticed, brother, how Allah is taken out of the equation in our conversations? It's them, the West, the non-believers. It's us where we're crying. And where's Allah in all this? He's nowhere in the calculation, in our calculations as Muslims. Well, what about the if we look back in history to the three pious generations of the Prophet ﷺ, then the followers and the followers of the followers, they had Allah's aid because they were true slaves to Allah. We don't have. We just started the show talking about the Muslim sisters in Iran and what they're doing. These kind of Muslims, I mean, I'm sorry to say, don't we deserve what's happening to us? Isn't this a normal consequences to our beliefs and our behaviors, our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Don't you think so?
If I can say something, I respect what the sister is saying, but of course, there's no doubt Muslim Ummah is always, there are sections of the Muslim Ummah that are blaming everyone else and not pointing the finger at ourselves. The way I look at these things of what the enemies are doing is for me to learn a lesson that we can play the same game. Because sometimes I'm like, how do they institutionalize these things? And in the future, how can we as Muslims reverse this? Because for sure, the propaganda that the West have, it's working for them. Because look what they're doing, And I truly believe this, that you can make, and this is what I say, when I see how the enemies of Islam, when they go in a country and they do certain things, they establish themselves as an institution, whether it be politically, economically, militarily, how does it affect the population? And how we as Muslims can do the same thing, but for the benefit of Islam. What I mean by that is that with propaganda, right? If you do the propaganda the right way, you can make a person convinced that 10 is equal to 1 and 1 is equal to 10. This is the power of propaganda.
Absolutely not.
You can turn a person against their own father and mother based on propaganda.
No, sir, you can't. With all disrespect, you cannot.
Okay, maybe perhaps you're not understanding what propaganda.
No, I do understand. I understand.
Okay.
But still, now you, sir, you're what you're saying basically, that you as a Muslim, you can be influenced and changed 100% by propaganda. But where are your roots? If your roots were deeply rooted, yeah, in knowledge and faith, it doesn't matter what propaganda is around you. You know what's dark, what's the wall. This is a black wall. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to see it as white.
But I think you misunderstand what I mean. But propaganda doesn't necessarily have to have a negative connotation. Propaganda can be something positive.
But yeah,
you know?
but it
So
could
that's
also
what I
come to
mean.
your
You know,
mind.
Islam is a propaganda. When you take Islamic education system, right, and you replace that with, say, for example, in the West, the Western education system, you know, if Islam can, I mean, obviously they have to be Muslims too, but what I'm saying is that if you take Islamic education curriculum and implement it, you know, on a larger scale, it can change and it can affect the population. That's what I mean, you know, mass media, you know, if the roots of the mass media had an Islamic basis, right, moral basis, that can affect the people, because media is a powerful tool of propaganda. You know, again, like I said, propaganda doesn't necessarily have to be negative. I'm not using propaganda in the negative connotation.
Oh,
You
I
know,
see.
you can use
Yeah.
Islam as a propaganda, as a tool. That's what I refer to, and that's what the non-Muslims do. You know, to the non-Muslim, of course, it's not evil propaganda. It's their propaganda and how they're doing it, and we learn from that. You know, the way they go into countries, what they do, where did they establish themselves, how did they do it. We learn that so we can prevent it probably in the future, or we can utilize that in a way. You know, that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah. Let me try to explain something to Sister Nada in terms of the root cause. Sister, I will take Egypt because Egypt was like a model of how things progressed negatively over centuries, actually. Like, I will make it very fast. Like, if I start 700 years ago, if you can see that when we have a drought, the king goes out to the big the one of the open area, very famous open area down the citadel, and he makes sujood, and he like put his face in the dust, like, and everyone goes out to make dua for the rain and for
Yes.
the Nile to come.
It's just
And
yeah.
yes, and but and also what of the measures he takes, and listen to this very carefully. What of the measures he takes? He cracked down on prostitution. Listen, 700 years ago, on prostitution and prostitutes and liquor. So whenever they had a crisis, they cracked down on prostitutes and liquor, and when the ease comes, and when the welfare comes and the Nile comes, they loosen their fist. The secularism has started gradually within the society. Secularism was not imposed from the outside, and that weakened the state muscles throughout the decades, throughout the years, and generation by generation. When the French came and invaded Egypt, they described in their memoirs, the officers, and the officers were very neutral, how miserable the hijab state was there. Like the women with almost open chest, a very low neck, but they are in a miserable state, like dirty and dusty. How to say because under the Mamluks, or how to say, because the Mamluks actually, those who was real rulers under even the Ottoman state was there, but the Mamluks was governing the things in the state at that time, and they weakened everything because they were very secular. So what I want to say here, we must maintain the balance between the scholars, the ulama, the knowledge power, the Islam power into the society, into the state, to segregate, separate, 100% segregate the force of Sharia, and that has to be protected by the nation, by the population, to protect the scholars, to protect the Sharia in terms of the institutes, the Sharia institutes. So, and to immune it and protect it from the regime influence and regime manipulation. So, no, you cannot touch these areas, because these areas will risk our existence, will risk our destiny. So that secularism, and if you read the scholars' books that time, how they were complaining about how the society was like hitting down the sea bottom, and they didn't, of course, expect that we will even dig the earth and will come out from the other side of the planet, like what we're happening now. But that
let's switch. Jazakallah khair. I just gotta say, let's switch gears here, and everybody sees the comment on.
And of course, when we came to that, how to say, the break-even point in terms of weakness, of course, they came to us. They invaded our lands, and we were very easy target. So that is the root cause.
Jazakallah khair. Let's switch gears a little bit. I think we're just like staying on this too long. Let's switch back. We can come back to it later. I got something on the screen right now from Iman.
Good question. Yep.
Iman Banaga, and she says, I hope it's a she. The thing is, people who hate Muslims and Islam are now, and I want to get it from Harun. I want to jump Harun in this conversation. The thing is, people who hate Muslims and Islam are now using this event as proof that Islam isn't a peaceful religion, that this event is in Iran represents all Muslims and Muslim women. Let me just say something before you, Harun. Promise, 30 seconds, and I'm going to jump in. This is the I feel that non-Muslims are going to not like us no matter what you do. If you lay down, if you stand up, if you, Islam is peace and doesn't come from the root word Islam. I believe whether we lay down or we stand up, they're going to dislike something about us. It's better to stay standing no matter what they, instead of laying down.
Well, so, what's going on with, us standing up is that we're getting recognized now, and you can see that even a nobody like me, I'm starting to stand up and getting recognized by these players that exist. They're already out there. They exist, and they're looking to destroy our religion. They're looking to defame us. They're looking to find any small thing that they can latch on to just to say that, this is the religion that this idiot follows. So those people exist, and I don't know, it seems like they're just a bunch of headline people, and it all goes back to the media, where you see people are so tuned in to just seeing what the headline is that first 15 seconds, but they haven't got the attention span to look at the paragraphs below what it just says. Read in depth and study and find out what the truth is. And, that's the thing, is our attention span is so short, and that's the way that they're getting in, and they're ruining the picture of Islam. It's just by these small, just small jabs, and then nobody's looking in depth. They're spending enough time to finish reading the paragraph. And even I do it myself. Like I'll get something, Abu Huraira so-and-so narrated that such and such and all this happened. And then something that someone sent me is amazing and beautiful, but I just don't have the attention span that I can read all the way down. I just go to the next one. And that's what we're doing. And that's really the root of the TikToks and the short videos that you get to scrolling through in YouTube. That's really what's happening in society right now. And that's probably,
I think what's happening to you specifically, and, on the WhatsApp, I said, my piece about it. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I think most, I don't know, Nida and anybody wants to jump in. I think we as Muslims spend so much time worrying about how people see us. If we're good, if we're praying, if we're not praying, if we're wearing hijab, if we're not wearing hijab, or aren't, we're so worried about what they think and what are they going to feel about Islam. And so following the pure instructions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran and Sunnah, is seen as something strange. And so a lot of Muslims try to modify that, okay, but if I do this, if I pray, if I wear a hijab, what are my coworkers going to think about me? I haven't worn hijab before. Are they going to freak out? Like, who cares? Who cares? I think we spend so much time on the defense. Like you and I discussed in WhatsApp, we pay attention so much about the defense, and losers like Apus and Shamoun, and jokers like Harris Sultan. By the way, Daniel Hakikaju, man, you roasted, man. You finished him. It's done. It's done. You could tell even in the first 10 minutes when he was making his
career ender.
Oh man, it was done. It was done. So. And, people like you, nobody's like me, nobody's like you, just regular Muslim people like us. I think we should just do this and just ignore all of the static, ignore all of the shamuns, because there's always going to be a shamun. There's always
I mean, just stay in our lane and see what we are what we can affect the most at.
Yeah, I mean, or whoever, shake this, shake that. Let them worry about them. That's what they do. That's what they're trained for. But people like me, like I refuse to give anybody my time that much. If he doesn't like me, but like, by the way, people are making Shamun is making a video about the fake conversion of Harun, the American convert. He's a fake. He's a phony. And you know,
video 2 now.
Oh,
also a website. There's a website, a whole column. Yeah,
unreal. Unreal.
What I think when people attack white converts like Mr. and Mrs. Muslim, I'm not going to get into that. That's not my fight. When people attack people like Harun, convert, what I think, and I'm not a conspiracy theory, anybody can jump in. This is what I think, though. They're attacking American white reverts because Islam is so true, and they know that to the people, to the masses, to the Western society, it's becoming irresistible. People are really looking for solutions to their lack of belief, lack of purpose in life, and Islam gives that. Islam is the oasis, the cold water in the middle of the desert after everybody's been lost and searching in the desert for their whole life. Islam is the cold water that quenches the. And so when you attack white reverts, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but when you attack white reverts, potential Muslims that are curious about Islam or are that far away from Islam, taking the Shahada, they think to themselves, oh, wait a minute, are they going to come after me when I become Muslim? Are they going to make videos about me? I don't want to. It's already hard enough for me to like say that I'm publicly Muslim. I think they do this and they know what they're doing, and there's think tanks to sway, you know, the white population or Westerners in general away from Islam or becoming Muslim. Anybody want to comment on that? Go ahead.
I do. I have something. They see that they've already lost. They see that they've lost the war. I mean, but they have these small little battles that they're trying to come. And if we fall, then everything is that they're fighting for is lost. And so when a white revert comes across, you see so much attention, and it's positive and negative from both sides. You get the good you get the good vibes and the bad vibes from the Christians, the Hindus, and the Muslims. And you know, I think that you know, they just know that what they're preaching and what they're selling is faulted. I mean, it's faulty, and they're just trying to hang on to it for a little while longer.
It's just making money on YouTube, you know, making these videos, these sensational headlines. I mean, just think about it, you know. I guarantee you right now, if I make a video, you know, like cooking up like straight bizarre like statements about what's his name, Sam Shamoun, you know, it'll get hits. You know, if I say, oh, I know him, I met him here, I know him for this many years, you know, ask him about me. I just have to make up lies. Who's going to prove me? Bro, who's going to prove me wrong? It's his words against my words.
Yeah.
As long as I put it up on social media, people will believe it. Because that's just the dynamics of social media. And that's, I guess, what he is trying to, I mean, that's just mind boggling. I mean, how does he just like claim, you know, this brother here? It has to be for the follower. He has nothing else to make videos about. You know, yeah. I mean, at least if he was a little bit sane enough, go read a passage from the Bible, go explain that to his people. Maybe they can at least benefit off of that. What gives you the reason? Like, what makes you thrive? You know, to make a video about someone else that he is not a real Muslim. Something bothers them, obviously, because they're becoming Muslims.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. I became a Muslim 31 years ago. This October will be 31 years. And this is the thing. When I became a Muslim, I didn't look back. I didn't become, hey, everybody, I'm an ex-Christian, and I'm going to go on, you know, YouTube and talk about Christianity and this and that. Like, I could care less, right? But
exactly.
I think that a lot of us see these days, you know, these four jokers and even more, you know, that it's all about money. It's all about attention. It's all about, they make their money.
It is.
They make their money because Islam is the flavor of the,
I'm pretty sure Sam is doing drugs. I'm pretty sure, to keep him, he has to be doing drugs. Those type of people that live that lifestyle, they're on something for sure.
Off, bro. Like I've seen a couple of his videos. There's one, he's like hitting himself. Oh God, and I'm just thinking, is he going to be doing this on the Day of Judgment?
You know what I would love to do? I would love to act like a Christian and just like do a documentary following him, his lifestyle every day. Just to see what he does every day as Sam Shamoun. I guarantee you, like, if I can pull that off, just show his weird, bizarre, unorthodox lifestyle that he lives, in his raw nature, forget it. His career would be over.
I have something. I tried, I honestly gave it, my effort to watch the video that he made about me. I mean, I gave 7 minutes of my life and he still didn't get to me. He was chastising his followers, the people that were watching. He was giving them a test. He says, okay, I have this video, this thing, this. Now, how many is it? How many did I say? And then he says, oh, I'm going to hang myself with my shoelaces. And then, I'm like, oh yeah, that one makes sense. Stuff for life shouldn't be that way. But, I gave it a try, but I did not gain any one single benefit from it. Even from, I looked at it, objectively. I was trying to say, like, is he going to teach something? But it was just nonsense. He sat for, 10 minutes sitting there. In the name, we ask that Jesus and his more glory and his and he's this, like, it's just like babble for the first part of that video. And then I couldn't even get to the part where he talked about me and I just turned it off. I mean, but tomorrow he will be having another video. I hope you saw that there. And yeah, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be available for that.
Just take it as something irrelevant, brother. Don't. And I don't know, if it was me, I would find ways to like sue this guy. If he's lying on me on social media, on public, saying things I never said, forget it. I'll find ways to end his career.
He's angry because I beat him back in 2016. He did what he does best, and he ran. He came up with he was talking about female circumcision and how it was in the Quran and all this type of stuff. And of course, I just told him, I said, okay, bring it to me, bring it on, show me. And I said, I'll say, he said, okay, I'll bring it to you and you'll say you're Christian today. And then I said, okay, I'm waiting. And I did a video about it. It's there. It shows the messages. He never showed up. He never brought me anything. So this is, they put these little droppings. They just drop them, headliners, and then they run. That's all they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, let's welcome Crazy Chicken to the stage. Crazy Chicken. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's going on? What do you think about this, man? Go in. Stage is yours, man.
What are you guys talking about?
Silence.
Love.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Bro, you came up on stage. I let you on stage because you wanted to say something, right?
Oh. I was just listening.
You were just listening, but you came on stage to listen as well?
He just wanted to come on the mic and just tell you guys he's listening. That's all.
What's your name, first off? You're the Crazy Chicken.
I took him off, man.
Oh, okay.
Hey, YZQ, thank you for the super sticker, man. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. By the way, like this, I forgot to tell everybody in the beginning. Usually Sarah B tells everybody to like it and hit the like button with the force of the asteroid that took out the dinosaurs. You know what I mean? So okay, let's get back.
Like it now.
Harun,
hey,
so what's going to be your rebuttal, man?
I'm just gonna go in there and say, Sam, I'm happy you lost all the weight. Good job, kudos, and you're looking great, and God love. Like one of those Southern God loves. You don't say God love unless they should be wearing a helmet. Yeah, that's so that kind of God love. But no, I'm wrong for saying that. I shouldn't say that. But he just went too far. He went really too far.
Let's see. Muslim cowboy. He's here. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
What's going on? Muslim cowboy.
Alhamdulillah. Not much, man. Just finished a broadcast with Baba Ali, mashallah.
Oh yeah, Baba Ali. Yeah, I know Baba Ali.
You're still around, huh?
Yep.
Mashallah.
My kids still watch his videos.
Okay, so Muslim cowboy. I know your name, man. Are you with IERA?
I work with some of the du'at that work with him. They partner with us. Yeah, I mean, I work with the organization I work with is Islam Chat, which we're an online dawah organization.
So tell me, Muslim cowboy, what do you think? We're talking about this earlier, but I don't know if you want to chime in. What's going on in Iran? Why do you think that women are like burning their hijabs? Do you think that this is a cultural type of thing? Do you think that they're rebelling against Islam? Do you think that they don't understand Islam in the first place?
Well, that's funny because I mean, talking to Baba Ali, he's an Irani convert, mashallah. For at least from what I know of his story and many others, many of them are, besides the Ithna Asharis, right, the 12 or Shias, most of Iran is secular. They're very secular people. His parents were atheists. I had one of my neighbors when I lived in what's that called, in Dallas before I came to Medina. He was Irani, and he never prayed, at all. Never did anything else. He just was like, live a good life and everything was going to be all right in the end, right? Type of mentality. So I think that's the issue: is people just they're very far distanced from reality, and anything that might be remnants of Islam there, except in certain areas, right? It's going to be cultural, like in the bigger cities. So I think what you're seeing a lot of is just the reactions of people who are in these areas that are primarily secular based, these larger major city areas. And also when we look at things that are shown to us in the media, you can see a lot, like a preponderance of something, and there not really be that much of it. For example, back not this Ukraine war, but back when Crimea was first taken back by Russia several years ago, I think 2015 maybe. Despite which side is right or wrong or whatever was going on, there were people from the U.S. who would go in and they would take these close-up shots, right, of these people protesting in the streets, saying there's tens of thousands of people taken to the streets. Well, those same shots were taken by other journalists on the same day that were zoomed out. And then you see that maybe there was like 50, 60 people, right? So, we might see what looks like a preponderance of something, but it might not be that much of it. So when we see these things happening on the media, I think that this is just something to garner the attention of Muslims in the West or other people who might be sympathetic to, this atheist feminist cause, and show, look, these women are speaking truth to power. They're willing to stand up and sacrifice it all and get these fines and penalties and stand up against this evil Islamic mandates and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's as every woman in Iran, I don't believe, is going out and burning her hijab, type of thing. Like they're trying to make it appear.
I don't think so either. I mean, and here's the thing we were talking about earlier about what really like pisses me off is when these women, they go, there's a commercial out there where some Iranian woman is in hijab. She's a young lady, and she says, I may not be the most beautiful woman in the world. I may not have white skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes like you, but I'm free and I'm declaring my liberation. And she tears off her hijab, and the whole thing just looks scripted. And this is all over the social media now, and people are like, what really makes me mad is when non-Muslims say, yes, we're with you. We support your anti-Islam and freedom, and you should be able to do what you want and have boyfriends and tear off your hijab, your body, you're this, you're that. Why do you think that? Do you think that is, these people are doing this because they're anti-Islam? Do you think that there's paid actors in this? I don't think every Iranian woman is tearing off her hijab either, but it's this little majority is the loudest. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same way with the LGBT movement that's going on. How many people are actually transgender, right? How many people are actually participating in these acts? Yeah, the number is growing, but it's still an extremely minority position amongst people. But yet their voices are so loud and they are pushing so hard, and they're, doing everything they can to, make people bend the knee. Like, they're very militant. And you see the same thing from, international feminism, people who are pushing this kind of, the anti-Islam, anti-Sharia type of pushback. They're not that big of a group of people, but yet they have loud voices, and they've got monetary backing, right? They have resources and people
power.
who are, yes, exactly.
Yeah, the Zionists did that, and this is how they got anything that you say against, Zionism. Sometimes they even equate that to as anti-Semitism, So similarly, this is the same trend, that they're trying to use this sort of, especially the LGBTQ community, they're trying to use like, oh, we're always picked on, so that's why now we're going to have to make all these laws, from that higher level that trickles down to every single house. They have to follow it. So
let's take this. Anybody want to respond to this question? Women protesting walk around topless by burning T-shirts as it's part of a human rights, or is it only an attack on hijab? What do you guys think? Anybody chime in on this?
I see this nudity all around. Young girls showing their bellies. The less clothes, the freer they think that they are. To me, why cheapen yourself? Are you free if you're that cheap to show what you got to every single person in the street? And I just see it every day, and they get younger and younger and younger. When I go to drop my kids off at school, I'm surprised. Like, how do they get off? How do their parents let the 12-year-old girl walk down the street like that? And I don't know where that became freedom. Where did it start that nudity is freedom? And to reveal
Hollywood indirect, subliminal, subconscious media propaganda.
You're right.
This is how it starts. Every Hollywood celebrity or a musical artist, they'll push the limits, and what they wear, what they say, that becomes the highlight. And we can actually track that now. Back in the day, we couldn't really track it, but now you can track it in social media. Whenever, like, whatever celebrity, what's that, Miley Cyrus, whatever she will do, it's going to be a trend. Or what's the you can pick any of those things.
I was gone for a while. Sorry.
So yeah, and that's pretty much how it became. Every time the bar is, like the standard, it keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. And I think, who's the latest one? Just trying to think. I mean, Madonna was a big contributor to this. You can pick certain celebrities that had a major influence on these things, especially in the West. Madonna was a huge one. Miley Cyrus, I think, was a huge one. Demi Lovato. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, these are the people that push. And obviously, I don't know if someone is pushing them, or this is something that they came up with. How to do these things. Some of the silly and the disgusting thing that they do, it becomes a trend. It becomes a trend, and you're just like looking at it, like, and like, what's surprising is there will be some parents, like, they would say that, like, I don't want my kids doing this, but it's subhanAllah, it's sad, the way you see society decaying like this,
And the worst part about that is it's trickling down to our youth. Like, when I became Muslim 31 years ago, my story is like almost just like the Muslim cowboys. I come from old money. My family's from the South. We all work for, Seneco or, Anadarko, and, disown and everything. And you would think back in the day that these type of problems are not visiting the Muslims. And back in the day, it really wasn't like that 31 years ago. But now we're getting hit every single problem that's going on with the Western youth it's hitting our kids as well. So
I mean, we're part of this melting pot, so we're getting carried with this wave. Nice, mashallah. You're officially what would I say, Midwesterner or Southerner? Oh man,
Arriba, arriba. This is my Mexican one. Here.
That one's a little bit more Wyoming style. I would say it hasn't been formed yet. When it's more flat build like that, the one in Texas, you'll see it more curved up at the sides like the one I wear. But that's something you'd see more in the north Midwest.
Right. Yeah, my son actually got this on a trip to where did he get this? Idaho.
Idaho, yeah.
This is not even really a tech. I've been in the boot stores over here in Oklahoma, and they got some nice hats, man.
Does all of these states in the South, they have their signature like markings that distinguishes them as the state hat?
I wouldn't say each state, no, but you will find different regions. You'll find different regions. Yeah, but not even still in Texas, it's still you're not going to see that many people wearing cowboy hats anymore. Mainly in the small country cities like where I come from, like Montgomery, north of Houston, and down in South Texas and whatnot. But like if you go to Dallas, you're not going to see anyone wearing a cowboy hat really anymore. Unless you see me walking around in Dallas, then I'll be wearing it. But everyone's just, in the cities, it's the same as any city anywhere else. I mean, cities basically have their own non-culture, right? Every city you go to, Paris to London to Dallas to New York, it's the same urban culture, which is like a non-culture. Everyone acts
urbanized culture, I guess you'd say.
So, also, are you from the Houston area? Because my dad's in Conroe.
Yeah, that's where I lived, man. I was from Conroe and I converted in Houston. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In Conroe, and he does wear a cowboy hat that's really fitted on.
Yeah, well, hey, in Conroe, you're gonna find that, but when you go closer to Houston, you're not gonna see it too much.
So I'll add something to that is that each state, I mean, like all the southern states, we're different from night from day. We're not the same. So Louisiana, completely different. Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Texas. Texas is a whole other world. I mean, I'm we all completely different. That's one thing. It's amazing. It always amazed me. But that's the way in any country that you go to. In Saudi Arabia, if you find someone from Bisha, they have nothing in common with someone from Jeddah.
Varsity's horns off. Hey, whoop.
Horns down. And y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
OU. Hey, did you catch that?
Boomer Sooners.
Hey, did you check that last Saturday? OU in Nebraska, 40. Man, we slaughtered.
I have not. I don't get college football here in Saudi Arabia. You're gonna have to send me some stream links, man. Give me some stream links so I can check out what's going on.
Each other on Twitter, then, inshallah.
All right, inshallah.
Neat, man. Yeah, so I think Harun, you're from Mississippi. Brothers from Texas. I was born and raised in California, but I'm over here in Oklahoma now.
You ain't one of us, boy.
My whole family is here, man. I got 95% of my family's here. Our roots are in the South. But what he said is true. Like Oklahoma is totally different from Mississippi and Texas. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand. I've been here for 2 months. Everybody is saying that. Well, some people say that Oklahoma is between Midwest and the South, but it's not the South. And I'm thinking, I've been here for 2 months. I don't see the Midwest in Oklahoma at all. I mean, where I live, it's the South to me. People act like Southerners.
Yeah, when I've been to Norman in Oklahoma City, it's almost just like northern Texas. I mean, I would consider it almost the same type of way of life and the same demographics, the way that people act, dress, and it's pretty much the same. There's not too much a whole lot of difference. There's not too much a whole lot of difference. All right, guys, you keep that.
Well, a lot of difference, boys,
Brothers and everyone else, listen, I'm going to have to get off here in just a little bit. I did want to say something in the comments. There is someone inside here, Lela, Leela. So, Leela. Yeah, that's one of our people right there. I wanted to give a shout out to that person there specifically. just something, I receive messages from people, here and there. And I mean, we get these messages, but just a common sense, amazing, beautiful message that came through from that person. And it was in the time that you needed it, So I wanted to mention that person there. And also I want to say, Jimbo, all the rest of the people, and everyone that's always, coming in and talking to us and helping us and supporting us. Jazakallah khair. And Muslim Cowboy, you go by other name other than Muslim Cowboy?
Yeah, I mean, you can call me whatever you want.
No, I didn't know because
my name is Brandon. Yeah,
okay.
You can call me Brandon.
All right, Brandon. Then, but Jazakallah khair. I appreciate you. What's going on? Alhamdulillah. And I said this in a message to you. Just make us proud. You got something right now that we all wish, inshallah, I get to do. And people are, I've already told like 5 people about the situation that like the school that you're in, and he's getting ready to get his plane ticket. One of them ready to just go, and he's going to show up. Kind of like you said. But alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That's something I hope that we all get to do soon, inshallah. We get to get some education. So.
Muslim Cowboy, you're in Medina. How long you been in Medina?
Yeah, I've been here for 3 years, alhamdulillah. No.
لسه. طيب حبيبي تبقى شيء أي خدمة؟
ما بدي شيء. بارك الله فيك. I'm gonna have to go in probably 3 or 4 minutes. It's about to be Fajr here.
Okay. So. I'm glad I got to be with you guys and everybody else. Thank y'all for listening.
This was nice. Alhamdulillah. I'm like burnt out too because I've been up since with Baba Ali for a couple hours and talking to my wives, and now about to go to sleep. Well, I mean, about to pray and then sleep before I gotta do more stuff today. So.
Yeah, Baba Ali and I, we used to be on Clubhouse, man. We used to have these marriage rooms and everything, man. Baba Ali's good, very good people.
Yeah, mashallah. No, he's doing a lot of great work, and I think he's solving a lot of the problems that people are having with the whole marriage issue.
Alhamdulillah, he found his niche. He found his niche.
I want to say one more thing before I get off, Brother Ali. I want to start another channel. I want to start another channel here, and I want to name it The Wall. And I think it's necessary. The reason I'm naming it The Wall is because it's where it stops. It's where all of this stuff is going to end. And I want to bring all of our educated, knowledgeable brothers, and we need to start doing something together. But you're there. You're one of the supporting individuals. If But anyway, that's something I'm going to do. Is there's going to be a new channel, The Wall. And we got to stop. You got to take a stand against all these things. It's, anything that we see that we believe that needs to be addressed. I want to have you, Ijaz, Brother Jordan, Muslim Cowboy. I want to have Jay also, and, all of the brothers that have a little bit of knowledge. I want us to come together and start refuting all of these negativities and all these bad things that's going around. So.
May Allah put barakah in it.
Yeah, inshallah.
Brothers, may I say something at the end? Jazakumullah khair. This was a wonderful program. Regarding the suggestion of the brother for solutions for things and The Wall or other programs, I think in order for us to really change the situation in our Muslim Ummah, we need to, when we have these programs, yes, we do put in our 2 cents, so to speak, and our opinions. But if we want real change and solutions, we have to shed the light of the Quran and Sunnah, because the solutions are there. It's like a roadmap that we have in the Quran and Sunnah. We have to shed the light of that, fix our problems. It's a prescription.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, and that's one of the things with this is it's shedding knowledge. It's not just about us coming up and saying, "Hey, stupid," "Hey, this." It's about actual hadith, actual Quran, actual Sunnah, and this is what I want. I want when someone comes up with something. We see it all the time. Alhamdulillah. we see it all the time where, I mean, they drop these like, oh, Aisha was however old she was, or, all of these things. They just drop these things, and let's bring actual, information, real world Quran and things like that to refute these types of things. That's what that's going to all be about. So
with the exception, and I'm going to wrap up right here, with the exception that, like I was saying earlier in the live stream, we need to stop being so on the defense and like defending ourselves from people like Shamoun and Epus and stuff. Man, those guys are jokers, man. Nobody cares about that. Like, let the Daniel Hakim, smash them, let them do their thing. But this is what I did. This Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made Aisha. So what? That was that was what happened back in the day. So what? And we move on.
Own it, guys. Own it.
Yeah.
Own it. It happened. It was a different time. And this is the thing is, alhamdulillah, this is the only thing that they have. They're not attacking our theology. They can't, because it proves itself time and time again. So what about terrorism? Oh, what about Aisha? Oh, what about this? That's all you got? Okay, so you're done. Yeah. You're just mad because people are like me, a Muslim cowboy, and Harun, the American convert, are becoming Muslim.
Yeah, and how many times have you been called a betrayer? You betrayed your own. How many times have you heard that?
I'm ex-military, and they really think that I'm, a traitor. So that's the thing. We need to, I don't know, Muslim cowboy. Like the first time I'm talking to you, I've seen you around.
Yeah, Maliki Click, right?
Yeah, Maliki Click. Yeah, that's me.
I can't see your name right here, but you look familiar, mashallah.
Yeah, and so that's the thing, we as a people, we so much energy in these circular debates or arguments that they just got to circle around, and when you're done, and going to come in. And,
hey, I think perhaps a suggestion for Brother Harun. I think in line with what Brother Maliki is saying. Instead of like going into the minute details and all the evidences of, like I'm using your example that you gave in regards to the Prophet on the marriage to Aisha radhiyallahu anha, there is a solution, or there's a formula to counter those arguments. Perhaps bringing, a formula on how we can just shoo them off. I think we have bigger fishes to fry in that sense. But obviously they are still a distraction. But I think there's perhaps a simple formula we can come up with to just shoo them away, and then talk about, real knowledge. There's no doubt. I don't think we should dismiss, some of these figures, because obviously, like what will happen is you will always have, especially if you want to interact with, I mean, I don't want to put myself in a higher scale, but perhaps we can say I'm a layman, like I'm part of the people in the chat sometimes, there will always be laymen who's going to bring up, oh, you know what? Sam Shamoun said this, Sham Shamoun said that. So what we need to do is have that formula to give them that, listen, brother, whenever you meet these type of people, whenever this is the formula used. And one of the formula that I think Brother Maliki Click says, look, own up. Or Brother Muslim Cowboy said, own up to it. This is the history of the Prophet. Be proud of it. These are more like a formula ways to deal with them, rather than trying to go into all the details. I think, again, details have already been mentioned. And of course, you can definitely bring Brother Ijaz for that. He's the person that has those details. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So perhaps, dealing with it in that way as part of your wall, inshallah.
Okay, so let's, Brother Muslim Cowboy has to go. He's Medina. In Medina, he has to pray Fajr. Let's
dua for us, Brother Muslim Cowboy. You're in Medina. Your dua is going to be...
yeah, don't forget me, guys, either. You could be way better off than I am.
So let's close, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala. Make sure that you're following the Muslim Cowboy. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube, doing excellent work. Make sure that you Harun, the American convert. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Got some things, some controversy coming out against him. So make sure that you support him in the comments, inshallah. I'm Maliki Click, aka Ali. I have a YouTube and Twitter account as well. So make sure that you follow me, inshallah ta'ala, to help out. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming on the platform today and voicing your opinions happening
Here, let's talk after you end the broadcast for just a few minutes.
Oh, okay, inshallah. So everybody, with that being said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really put sincerity in our hearts. We always talk about the problems. We always talk about the problems. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do this. But you can't really come without doing it first yourself. We have to stop talking about what we have to do and what's the problem, and actually figure out what can we do in our own family, in our own house, in our own community, and just close our mouth and start to do the things. Because if we don't, who's going to do it? Because we're all at the, like I said, I used the analogy yesterday. I'm going to wrap up. We're all at the, we all want to get to the top of the mountain, but everybody at the bottom of the mountain need each other. Are you going to do it? No, bro, you go first. No, the problem is this. We need to go up, so why don't you go up? But none of us to actually ourselves. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really help us, as we say in America, get in where you fit in and do the work. Our mouth has been working overtime for decades. Where has that gotten us? Not too far. Not too far. So let's live for today. Let's live for tomorrow. As the old Greek proverb says, society becomes great when old men plant trees in which their shade they will never sit in. That's us. That's what we need to do. We need to stop talking, because talking does nothing. Actually plant the seeds for our kids and our grandkids, even though we won't be around, possibly in the future. With that, barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.